Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm back with another Second Chance Cinema review, this time for The Last Action Hero from 1993, starring some guy named Arnold Schwarzenegger, Zellweger, Zellweger, must be related to, wait, no, Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay, as well as several other recognizable faces, such as Charles Dance from Game of Thrones, Mercedes Rule, F. Murray Abraham, and those are just the people who actually have speaking roles. They have a lot of cameos in it as well, which I'll get to in a moment. But as far as the synopsis for this film, it simply states, with the help of a magic ticket, a young movie fan is transported into the fictional world of his favorite action movie character. Yeah, pretty basic little description there. But yeah, so this kid in it is a huge fan of a fictitious action star named Jack Slater. He's seen every movie. He knows all the dialogue and he's watching just the newest installment of this where he gets transported into the movie. So what really made this movie stick out for me as a possibility for the Second Chance Cinema, series that I've been doing is how disappointed I was in it initially. Like with my The Nightmare Before Christmas situation, which I'll have a link to that review in the comments here or in the description, sorry. I was working at a movie theater at the time that this came out, and it had a huge ad campaign. It was just intense. So you couldn't look anywhere without seeing something about Last Action Hero for a while there as we were getting closer and closer to the release date. Tons of commercials, and that's in a pre-DVR kind of situation here. We had Burger King tie-ins, giant inflatable Arnolds everywhere, and they even had this Last Action Hero logo kind of like painted on the side of a NASA rocket later on after it came out. So it was crazy. Now, this wasn't as bad of a marketing blitz, in my opinion, is what we saw years later with The Force Awakens, but it was still rough. And it also set the expectation very high for this one, while not being clear what the intent of this film was. It looks like it's just going to be this big action film, but it's breaking the fourth wall. The way that they did for our main character, Danny, as he's transported into the action film felt new, I guess, in some ways. It's a strange, unexpected in an action movie, at least, especially with, Arnold, not with like Leslie Nielsen, for example. But the entire viewing, many of us previewing that print, were kind of confused as to where they were kind of going with this movie. It was difficult at the time to get emotionally invested in it as it never seemed to take itself seriously, both within the action movie portion and the portion of the film that's taking place in, the real world for this kid. So ultimately, the movie didn't really perform that well. It was a bit of a letdown for many, especially those who were marketing it like crazy, I would imagine. But then, like The Nightmare Before Christmas, home video came along. So no date this time for that one. This is just me taking this huge leap and picking the sucker up on Laserdisc. That's how long ago this was. Because I just wanted some loud, energetic film to blast through my huge 27-inch TV and Dolby Pro Logic system. Anyways, going into it with this understanding that there's a strong element of breaking that fourth wall, um, it kind of helped it, like knowing that it's not going to be taking itself too seriously. It really helped kind of, I don't know, it gave me that expectation not to take it seriously and just have some fun with it. And it made it a lot more enjoyable knowing that, this movie is going to be kind of making fun of action films from the 70s through the 90s. And just sit back and enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously. Don't expect Lethal Weapon out of this. Expect something that's much more of a comedy. And so what was also interesting about this one, as I mentioned earlier, having those cameos. I got a list of some of the cameos here. Of course, we got Tina Turner. I think she's playing like the mayor of the city in the film. Both Sharon Stone and Robert Patrick actually show up as their characters in previous films. Got Sylvester Stallone, Angie Everhart, Jim Belushi, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Arnold Schwarzenegger in the scene where he comes across the Jack Slater character. Very strange. With his wife, Maria Shriver. We got Damon Wayans, Chevy Chase, Little Richard. And we get to see a very early American performance by Sir Ian McKellen playing the role of Death in another film within this film. So all those elements I mentioned earlier, with all these cameos, the over-the-top 70s to 90s action scenes, turned this film from the first viewing being a dud and a bit of a letdown into quite an entertaining and meta piece of like high-octane action, which I highly recommend giving a second chance if you had similar thoughts seeing it years back and didn't care for it, or just to know what you're getting into checking it out for the first time. Can't really take it too seriously, but just know that in the movie, when the kid is going within the movie, a little bit hard to keep track of, It's going to be just nothing but comedy, tons of action movie puns and cliches. It's going to be worth checking out. And hopefully, if you go into it with that expectation like I did on my second viewing, you'll end up enjoying it as well. And, think you should check it out. Give it another try if you didn't like it the first time, or check it out if you haven't seen it before. It's worth seeing. Speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out my little video here. It's another little short one. Be sure to check out some of my back catalog. Consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon for notifications. Like and share this video around because it really does help the channel. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.